You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
I thought Rex Ryan getting fatter was going to be a good thing for the team. They lost that game last Thursday night.
Guy, I'm looking forward to have a kind of breakout performance in week 3.
Look what I did with the wins.
You made me great again.
I made you great again, right?
Yeah.
So if we're talking to them in a pleasant voice or an angry voice or a neutral voice, the dog actually registers those in different parts of its brain.
That is multifaceted stuff right there. You can't write that script.
And parents, earmuffs.
My friends, welcome back to When's World. Here we go.
The out of control Atlanta Traffic Watch.
It is out of control, but let me tell you who is in control of giving you everything latest and greatest Atlanta traffic-wise. The voice of Atlanta traffic himself, Mr. Chris Monroe.
Lord of mercy. Hello. How are you, buddy?
Fan-freaking-tastic. Welcome back to When's World.
Hey, man. Always good. When I step into When's World, it's almost like Waters World. It's a big deal.
Okay.
So it's almost like being in Waters World with When's World. It's a compliment.
So you're calling When's World a big deal?
It is a big deal.
Wow.
It's a big deal.
That is a compliment coming from the voice of Atlanta Traffic at Atlanta Traffic, right, on Twitter.
That's right, at Atlanta Traffic, Atlanta's #1 traffic resource.
Well, speaking of Atlanta Traffic, what's in store for this weekend, Chris?
Hey,
Monroe?
they are going to have, my understanding, is multiple lanes of I-20 blocked on the inbound West Expressway from Douglasville. So that's going to start Friday night all the way through Sunday into early Monday morning. They'll have multiple lanes blocked for paving from Thornton Road all the way in past Six Flags. So that's going to be a humongous delay from Douglasville or Lithia Springs heading past Six Flags if you're heading into downtown. And, of course, the paving continues on the connector, multiple lanes blocked. They've got, looks like a lot of the northbound side done, but now they're going to probably switch over to the southbound side. So getting through downtown and midtown is going to be rough all weekend, too.
You know, Chris, I noticed a hop in your step today. It's almost like there's a song in your heart. So let's bring it back to One Time at band camp.
Nerd alert!
Cool. We're going to have such a good time. It'll be like this one time at band camp.
Like on Wayne's World. Yeah. You're going back. It's that music. You go all the way back to band camp. And it was the days, Joey, when, and I've got some pictures to prove it, when we pulled our tube socks up to our knees, got that multi-pack tube socks from Kmart.
Oh, yeah.
And,
With the 2 lines of red up top?
2 lines of red. Well, I had the multicolor. I had the gold and the blue, too. Nice. So we had those suckers pulled up, and we had the coiffures going. Oh, and don't forget the visor with the see-through visor with like green.
Like,
yeah, like the real golf visor, man. We wore that at band camp. So one time at band camp, and it was my freshman year. I walked into my first music class, and I was just about to sit down, and everybody started laughing, and I really wasn't quite sure what was going on, and I'm just a little freshman. I was not even 14 yet. I was still 13 when I went into high school. And my fly on my OP shorts, by the way, OP, remember that?
Ocean Pacific?
Oh, yeah, Ocean Pacific, baby. Had come down, and my wiener was showing.
So you weren't wearing any underoos, or?
I was going commando.
Whoa.
I was going commando. And so they said, better put your skin flute back in there, Monroe. And that's what happened at band camp one time.
Well, thankfully, it wasn't cold in that room, so the best of you was showing.
It was kind of chilly, though.
Oh, was it?
There was shrinkage.
There was shrinkage, Jerry! There was shrinkage! I was in the pool!
Oh, the old band camp stories. You think that band camp kids are all just, sugar and spice and everything nice, but they're not.
Speaking of the voice and music, what's been going on with the foundation, man? You guys are doing fantastic things for the community.
We had such an awesome time this week. In fact, on Monday, we went to Kelly Lake Elementary School over there in, it's right there east of the East Lake area in Atlanta, right off Candler Road and between Panthersville and Decatur. We were able to bring 15 instruments to kids in need over there that had been donated. And here's the cool thing, and I totally didn't expect this. When we showed up, the band director and the orchestra director had asked kids to sign up that said, if you could get an instrument, how many people would be interested in taking a music class?
Wow.
It was 60 kids, Joey, in the room. So we had to draw for instruments. We couldn't provide all the instruments, but 60 kids wanted to be in band. And this is just one at-risk, at-need program in DeKalb County. So if you have an extra instrument, if you want to give to our program, we really need your support right now. It's giftofmusic.org. These kids, I'm telling you, if we can put an instrument in their hand, we will keep them out of trouble. You're not going to save every one of them, but the likelihood that they're going to do better in school, that they're going to not get into trouble, that they're going to get through high school and graduate and be a productive citizen. Music is so important. One of our taglines is because music matters. And we believe that, and everybody that works for the foundation believes that. And I can't tell you the amazing high that it is when you deliver instruments to kids and they put them together and they hold that instrument for the first time. It's pretty mind-blowing, and it strengthens your resolve to want to do better.
Oh, that's such good news. Way to end it on a high note.
Yeah, man.
As always, a pleasure to have the great Chris Monroe right here in Wentzworld.
And we have so many things. I want you to think about all the textures we just had.
Yeah.
We went from out-of-control traffic to my wee-wee showing all the way back to doing good. That is multifaceted stuff right there. You can't write that script.
Can't even get that on Waters World.
No, this is way too risque for Waters World.
Chris, you're awesome, man. Thanks so much.
Bye.
He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B.
Break!
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
From my heart and from my hands, why don't people understand my intentions?
I'm in Wen's world, and I love it.
It's Weird Science time, and of course, we have the experts at Reasons to Believe, found online, reasons.org, and on Twitter at RTB_official. Dr. A.J. Roberts with us today. Dr. A.J., how are you?
Doing great, Joey. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. You know, so when we were kids, our parents took us to petting zoos, and some of the animals made some really odd sounds, and some of them, like, almost human in some capacity.
Oh, my God.
I mean, it sounds like...
Yes, the angry charging elephant sound that my dad used to make.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it's a goat, and it sounds like a person yelling, but they found other ways to communicate with the human race also, right, Dr. AJ?
Absolutely. They communicate with humans with the way that they look at us and the way that they hold their face, and they can even show facial expressions, especially dogs.
Wow. That's so huge. You know, sometimes I look at my cats, and I can't figure out if they're staring at me because they love me or they want to eat my face.
Yeah, you know, it's a touchy situation. If it's a female cat, she probably loves you. If it's a male cat, it's probably torn between the two.
So when it comes to these barnyard animals or goats, how do we know that they're actually communicating?
Yeah, right. So, you know, it's all about having the proper experimental controls when you're trying to figure out if something's really going on inside an animal's brain. Right. And so they've done in previous studies, the one we're talking about right now about the goats, that one's just a recent study done by researchers at the University of Queensland in London. But prior to that, other researchers have published data that show that horses and dogs and human toddlers can all respond to sort of a reward-based test that actually involves gazing at the human experimenter when they can't access the reward themselves. So basically they train them to access a reward. In the case of the goats, the reward is food underneath a plastic container. And so the plastic container is just laying there, and they train them to move the plastic container and get to the food. But when they do something slightly mean, like glue the lid down on top of the food so that it won't move, what they find is that when the goats approach the reward and they can't get to it, if there's a human experimenter or trainer nearby and they're facing the goat will actually look at the human and sometimes even walk up to the human and look at it as if to say, hey, you, can't you help?
Yeah, so where are we going with this? I mean, what does that mean?
Yeah, well, so I certainly think that it shows that some creatures are actually soulish, that they have an intelligence and the ability to connect with human beings, both on an emotional level and a companionship or work-related level. And I think that that's reflected in the scriptures, especially in the book of Job, chapters 38 and 39. And one of my coworkers here at Reasons to Believe, Dr. Hugh Ross, has actually written on that in a book called The Hidden Treasures in the Book of Job. So it's pretty amazing that there are these creatures out there that are soulish, or the Hebrew word for that is nephesh, And they have the ability to connect with human beings in ways that, insects or ants or some reptiles may not.
All right, with that said, how do we communicate back with the goats?
Right, so we don't know so much about how we communicate back with goats,
right.
But if we're talking about a horse or a dog, we actually know that they can read our facial expressions. Huh. So they can show pictures of human face to horses that display anger or display happiness or display a neutral human face, and the same to a dog. And what they see is that if the face is happy, that there's sort of a sympathetic reaction, maybe a tilt of the head or a facial expression or a positive type motion that is indicated in the horse or in the dog. But if the face is angry or if it's threatening, then what they actually see in the case of the horse, they'll actually see an increased heart rate, and they'll see the horse sort of gaze in a way that indicates that the horse understands it's in a negative situation. In the case of the dog, it depends on if the angry face is another dog's face or if it's a human's face. But if it's an angry dog face, the dog will sort of continue to gaze to check the facial expression to see if it's going to change. But if it's a human face, the dog will actually look away. It'll notice that the angry face is there and it'll look away, which is completely different than what it does if it's a happy face. So, yeah, they do communicate back to us, and they do recognize our communication based on facial expressions. With dogs, again, they can understand words, specific words, and they can also understand intonation. So if we're talking to them in a pleasant voice or an angry voice or a neutral voice, the dog actually registers those in different parts of its brain and responds appropriately.
As always, fascinating stuff with our friends at Reasons to Believe, found online, reasons.org, and connect on Twitter at RTB_official. Dr. Roberts, now I can finally understand why that goat is staring at me. I get it.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate you coming back to When's World.
You bet, Joey. Anytime. Have a great week.
You too.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your website, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Hey, this is the Deej, the sales energizer. And like you, I'm in When's World. It's a frightening place, but we're here. This is what I want you to do. Listen to the show, the whole show, and then when you're done, go to my website, remedysalesmatch.com. Fill out the subscription form for the newsletter, and I will send you a free book that's going to change your life, The Hitchhiker's Guide to Guaranteed Success. Do it after the show.
I'm Amber Berry with Crazy Healthy Radio. Come visit me at Westside Yoga on Howell Mill Road in the month of September, and your first week is free for new students. It's National Yoga Month, and we would love to meet you on the mat. I'm in When's World, and I love it.
Hey everybody, this is Jenny McCormick Earhart, inviting you to join me every Saturday at 1 o'clock on the Southern Sisters Radio Show, the show for Southern women and the men who adore us. We talk about everything from life in the South to food in the South to romance in the South. So hit me up at my website, southernsistershome.com, or follow me on Facebook. I'm in When's World, and I love it.
This is Larry WACHS of the world-famous WACHS Modcast, Atlanta's #1 smartphone radio show on iTunes and Google Play. But that's nothing compared to When's World.
Larry, WACHS. Your advice last week about fantasy football?
What was my advice? I forget.
No rest for the weary. No mercy. You just pound them into the dirt and then you step on their head, and it worked. I won by 35 points this week.
This was against your wife.
No. I don't play her till week 7. This is against the commish. So I stuck it to him.
Oh, good. Good for you.
Played all the right players, did my homework. I literally beat him point-wise at every single position.
Well, it's not working for me because I'm 0-2. But
oof.
Yeah. I drafted 10th.
That's a tough spot.
It's a tough spot to get out of. So I don't have a lot of reliable, what I call bangers, guys that just pound out points week after week after week. I don't have Cam Newton.
I do.
So I got to struggle and search that waiver wire and position, and I got to look at my opponent, see what they're doing, and you know, kind of take hunches once in a while. But I lost by 2 points last week. So it's getting better.
That's so brutal.
Yeah. Well, you know, I Doug Martin I had, for example. When you draft 10th, you got to take the last elite on the board, and Doug Martin was one of them.
He got hurt too, right?
Yeah, he hurt his hamstring. He got 2.5 points, and that was it.
That's what you expect from a bad tight end or a lazy kicker, not from a running back.
Right. Plus, I had the Jets defense. I thought, man, they have their together, but they didn't against the Bills, and they only scored 2 points. So back to the waiver wire.
How many teams are in your league?
10.
Oh, so you were last and then first in the second round. Do you have a snake draft?
Yeah. You know, this is the time of year a lot of studs go out, so there could be some wheeling and dealing. Peterson's done.
Yep.
Julio is gimpy, and that never ceases. That's why I never draft Julio. He can get some big points, but he's so tender and delicate.
Why don't you pick up the Muslim?
Sanu, he was taken. I was going to take the Muslim, but he was taken. I think he's handicapped by the Kyle Shanahan horizontal offense. Now, I will say in Oakland, they did throw the ball downfield more than they used to, but it's not as much as they should.
Right.
You know, they can't. They have 2 big, tall speedsters in Sanu and Julio. I have to ask, what is going on in the slot if they're throwing to Tammy all the time?
What did he catch? He had like 5 catches last week.
I think what's happening is they have a good receiver in Hardy, but he's too green.
Yeah.
And, you know, they bring in Taylor Gabriel once in a while. I've never heard of him before this season, and he's just like one of those guys that just appeared. So I don't know. I think they have a good offense, but for some reason, Shanahan thinks they should dink and dunk more than they should for having those 2 speedsters, those bombers.
It seems like he limits Matt Ryan's call, the ability to change things if he sees something in the secondary.
Matt Ryan's personality, I think, is too mild. I don't think he's and people mock it, but there's a reason. His voice. Yeah, it doesn't command respect. If you're in the huddle going like this, okay, fellas, here's the play. Jet right 22, Ram 49 on go. It's like, oh, geez, this is not going to, I got to try extra hard.
Yeah, that's not a general that you're going to follow into battle.
No, you got to hear the bark. You got to hear the bark.
Yeah.
What's never considered by the NFL scouts is voice resonance, and it's so important. Tom Brady takes command. Look at Jared Goff.
What a waste. Yeah.
All the players know because he doesn't command respect in the huddle. His voice is weak. He looks like a child. So Matt Ryan, while I think he's a very accomplished quarterback and he's got a lot of great skills and he can read defenses, I think he doesn't command a lot of respect. I don't see him telling Kyle Shanahan, listen, I'm the one who makes $10 million a year, and you're here because your last name is Shanahan. So Let's get with the program and design an offense that works for me.
Well, that sermon needs to be heard.
Yeah, I wish I could transplant my voice into Matt Ryan. Maybe we can do that.
Isn't there a Disney movie about something like that?
Yeah.
Freaky Friday.
I can go Fred Savage with Matt Ryan, and that would fix it. Listen, Matt, this is what you got to do, buddy. One lunch with Matt Ryan, I could fix him. Look what I did with the Wens.
You made me great again.
I made you great again, right?
Yeah.
You've just remembered the things I've told you and my insights, my experience, and it resonated with you. It was very persuasive, and you tried it, and it worked, and you're like a new man in a matter of weeks.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls? Start saving thousands in interest and fees and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Indeed, back in Wen's world with the one, the only, the great at Radio Griff on the Twitter. Welcome back to Wen's World, Griffin. How are you, bud?
Doing great, man. I'm excited to be here.
You know what? We bring the NFL news, predictions, and a whole lot of shenanigans along the way. Sad to say that at Radio Griff is ahead of the Wens here, 23-10 so far through week 2 and one game into week 3. Yours truly, 19-14. I gotta say, I made a keen observation this morning on the way in, and
yeah,
I'd like to share it with you.
I'd like to hear it.
You know, at first, Griffin, when you said the Patriots would go undefeated this year, I scoffed. I laughed. I did anything but take you seriously, and now I'm beginning to see the light. It's not about Brady. It's not about Jimmy G. It's not even about anybody else. It's about Bill Belichick.
Yes.
The man plugs and chugs. He is a freaking winner, and I hate it because I hate him, but I need to stop.
Why do you hate him? He's so lovable.
He's a son of a I hate this guy. He's so damn perfect at everything. And, you know, through all the cheating and yada, 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 and there's a lot of hearsay, I just dislike him beyond anybody. I dislike him more than I dislike Osama bin Laden.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's what I'm dealing with here.
I see Belichick, and I'm inspired. I see this guy that's playing the game above the game, and I want to be like him. I want to manipulate the world around me the way he's done to the football world. It's incredible. I see him as like this, a mentor.
He is a deity.
That's why I have my cutoff sweatshirt on today.
I was going to notice. I see those biceps popping, and woo, it's getting a little toasty in here, if you know what I mean. But week 2, a lot of surprises. You know, like I said, both of us actually went 9-7.
Which, I mean, my 10-month-old son could do that. That's just picking at random, and, you know, you're going to be 500. I was watching last week, and I was like, man, I missed a lot of these games. I don't know what I'm talking about, obviously. So,
well, you're still ahead of the game.
Thanks to a great week 1, yeah.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and take a look at week 3. Yesterday, we weren't able to connect, but we talked via email, and of course, you chose the winning Patriots.
Because they're going undefeated.
Yeah.
No matter who the quarterback is.
You're sticking to your guns there.
And, they pulled it out, man. Texans, ugh.
I totally took Houston, and Houston got routed 27-0. I mean, that's shameful. Shameful if you're a Texan fan, if you're the Texans head coach, Bill O'Brien, after that loss. It was pitiful, and it was 15 years ago to this very day, September 24th, that Drew Bledsoe was knocked out of the game, and a 6th rounder from Michigan that nobody really knew of stepped in and began his legacy, i.e. Tom Brady.
Right.
Now, currently, he's playing catch in his backyard with Giselle Bundchen. But, you know, like I said, I got to stop hating on the guy. So that's where we are. Griff is 1-0. The wins here, 0-1. Well, let's get some predictions for the rest of week 3. Let's
do it.
Cardinals at Bills. What say you at Radio Griff?
The Bills are a train wreck. I thought Rex Ryan getting fatter was going to be a good thing for the team. They lost that game last Thursday night. And then they fire their offensive coordinator. He's made the offense better than it's ever been.
Yeah, they scored a ton of points, too.
Right, and let's blame him for some reason.
Yeah.
So it's a train wreck. It's over. Rex Ryan, he's going to be a great commentator next year on Fox or ESPN. I'll take the Cardinals. They're just the superior team.
I'm going to agree with you. I don't see any way that the Bills win this game, even if they're at home. I don't think the Cardinals have anything to worry about. Raiders at Titans. Titans came back last week, scored, I think, 14 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to come back and win.
Yeah, Marcus Mariota, baby. He's looking good. Throwing some darts. I like it. And the Raiders, tough loss against the Atlanta Falcons in Oakland last week. And I think Oakland traveling east, taking on the Titans. Titans, I think, are rolling along. They're ready to continue, and they're going to win. They're going to beat the Raiders.
Wow, taking Tennessee in Tennessee. I'm going to go with Oaktown. I think that they're going to throw down in the Volunteer State. Skins at Giants. Beckham versus Norman. Woo!
That's going to be fascinating to watch. Lots of talk this week about it. And the Giants are like this non-sleeper team, I feel like. I feel like they're a pretty good team. Just kind of out of nowhere. They're not really on anyone's radar, it seems. Like on the big picture, everyone talks Packers and, you know, the Patriots and blah, 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 Cardinals, Seahawks. The Giants are just quietly doing their thing, and they're playing in New York. Redskins, Kirk Cousins, not looking good there. I'm not sure what's going on. It seems like another organization that can't quite figure it out. I'll take the Giants.
You know, you mentioned the narcoleptic New York Giants. I definitely see your point there. It's something that you want to consider. You're like, wow, sometimes you see flashes of brilliance from this team on both sides of the ball. Redskins, they haven't really impressed me much, but I'm going to take the Skins on the road here.
Look at that.
There's something about Cousins. It's those serial killer eyes that he has. He still has that fire inside. I don't know.
He does have fire, yeah.
A whole lot of smoke maybe, but we'll see after this week. I might jump the bandwagon after. The Browns at the Dolphins. The Cleveland Browns had I think 20-0 lead against Baltimore and just beat it away.
Baltimore came back. Dolphins, I'm not sold on them yet, so I'm going to take the Browns.
Wow.
They did score some points last week with whoever their court, McNown.
Yeah.
The 15th McNown brother. I think they're going to go to Miami and win. It's kind of one of my upset picks this week.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to take Miami at home. Corey Coleman out with an injured hand. I think Terrell Pryor is going to have to step up big time. Going to see a whole lot of runs. I'm still really not sold on Miami either, but I got to pick the lesser of the suckier teams here, and I'm going to go with the Dolphins at home there. Baltimore at Jacksonville. You know, Baltimore, real quick, 2-0, but one of the most unexciting teams to watch in all of the NFL right now.
Oh, they're terrible to watch. I mean, especially because you watch football to see great offensive plays a lot.
Yeah.
At least I do.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco, who's he even throwing it to?
It's an anomaly.
It's incredible what's going on there. And they're playing in Jacksonville. Jaguars just haven't looked like the team we thought they'd be, at least in my opinion. I thought they'd be a little better.
Right.
Because last year they had a pretty explosive offense. And I have Allen Robinson, one of their top receivers, or their top receiver on my fantasy team. And I can speak from experience. He hasn't really done much this year. That offense just hasn't been clicking, it seems. I think the Ravens will continue this unfathomable winning streak, and they'll go down to Jacksonville and win.
I'm going to take the Jags at home. They are hungry. They are hungry for a W.
They need a win. Yeah.
They need one, and I like their team. I just like how young they are. They have a lot of explosive offensive weapons. I guess that remains to be seen, but I'm going to take the Jags at home. Moving on down the line here, division rivalry unparalleled to many. Lions at Packers. Oof.
Tough loss for both teams last week, right?
Yeah, big time.
And the Packers, not sure really what's going on there. Aaron Rodgers not looking so great. All of a sudden, kind of just a mediocre quarterback. Maybe he's, dare I say, overrated. I will take one of my big upset picks this week. The Lions go into Green Bay and beat the Packers. I think the Lions are just going to put up a lot of points, and they're going to win the game.
Wow, I have a word for everybody out there. RELAX. Relax. Aaron Rodgers is going to get back to form. He's going to throw at least 4 touchdown passes this weekend. I'm calling it right now. He's going to get back.
What if Stafford throws 6?
Well, then we have a ball game here, folks. I can't understand why people get so wishy-washy about Aaron Rodgers. The dude is a freaking Hall of Famer. He's going to recover. He's going to win this game, and it's not even going to be close. I'm calling it at least 10 points on a victory here. I think Stafford's going to choke. I don't see a path for him to win.
Packers are going to finish 3rd in this division this year.
Wow.
Vikings and Lions are superior teams to the Green Bay Packers.
I love the fervor from @RadioGriff on Twitter. I just don't see that happening. You got the Lions, I got the Pack. Moving on down the line here. Denver at Cincy. Broncos at Bengals. What do you think?
Bengals are just a team that it doesn't matter who they're playing. I'm bored watching them play. I think I say that on here every week. I take the Broncos with their quarterback making slightly less money than I make. I think he'll win the game.
A rich prediction there. I will go with Cincy at home. There's something about this game that just screams upset. And that's my upset special of the week. I'm not sure how big of an upset it is, but I imagine the Super Bowl champions are probably favored.
I would imagine.
This matchup. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Cincy there. Vikings at Panthers. Wow, this might be the game of the week.
Game of the week, I say, yeah. Looks like they're going to play in Charlotte. Lots of stuff going on there this week. The Panthers, they're continuing on, what they did last year. And the Vikings, they lose their quarterback. Now they've lost AP, their running back, my first-round pick in fantasy football. So my fantasy team is over.
R.I.P. Yeah.
I'm going to go on a big limb here. It's getting shaky out here. I'll take the Vikings. They're going to go into Carolina, and they're going to tick off a lot of people, and they're going to win this game. Sam Bradford, your boy, is going to lead the Minnesota Vikings. They're going to continue on this winning, and all the way to the Super Bowl, maybe.
I'm going to concur with your statement. I think Minnesota goes into Carolina, runs over the protesters, wins this game. With AP being gone, you're going to see a whole lot more from Asiata and McKinnon.
And they're going to throw the ball a lot, I feel like, too.
Yeah, I mean, Bradford
can do it.
He looked good last week. 2 touchdowns and I think 280-something yards, over 100 QBR. I think you're right. I think Minnesota wins this game, and Sammy Sleeves goes 2-0. Rams at Bucks. Ooh, stinker.
Yeah, it really is a stinker. Rams, I think they still have not scored a touchdown this year. They won last week against the Seahawks at home, but it was like 9-3. They still have not scored a touchdown in 2 weeks. Their offense is trash. The Bucks had a rough one in Arizona last week, but I think Jameis gets back on track. It's in Tampa Bay. Tampa wins this game.
I'm going to go against common sense here. I'm going to go with St. Angeles. I'm going with St. Angeles in this one. There's something about this defense that befuddles me. I mean, they beat Seattle, and granted, Russell Wilson was playing on one leg, but they find ways to stop the opposing offense. And look, Tampa Bay is going to be out without one of their offensive weapons Austin Safarian-Jenkins with a DUI. He's still in jail from what I hear.
I saw that, yeah.
So the man's going to be playing the harmonica behind the bars probably on Sunday. I'm still not sold on Tampa Bay this year. It's like they still haven't come out. After last year, I thought they were going to come out with some pea and vinegar. You know, I haven't seen it. I'm going to go with the Rams on the road there.
Wow.
To beat famous Jameis and crew. Niners at Seahawks. Chip Kelly, no longer undefeated, but hey, he's still kind of impressive, I got to say.
Yeah, they're kind of a fun team to watch. They showed some fight last week, and they came back, and it made it a little interesting there for a minute. I think the Niners, for the first time in forever, are going to go to Seattle. Blaine Gabbert's going to get hurt. The great cover boy of Time Magazine, Colin Kaepernick, is going to come in.
Wow.
And he's going to lead. It's going to be like old times, baby. He's going to lead my San Francisco 49ers to victory over terrible human being Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks.
You couldn't script it any better. If it doesn't play out like that, I will be disappointed because I would love that storyline to watch on NFL Network the following morning. I literally would love to see Colin Kaepernick come in and get an opportunity. And I guess the appropriate word would be to redeem himself, because all he's been talked about is because of his talk. He hasn't even had the opportunity to go out and prove it on the field this year.
Right. That'd be nice to see.
It would be. So I'm going to go opposite and go with Seattle. I think the Seattle wins at home. Look, they've had a lot of close calls. Week 1, they barely beat Miami. It takes the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game. Last week, they lose to the Rams. But I'm still going to take Seattle. I think at home, they need this win to save the season. Jets at Chiefs. Jets showed us both something, I think, last week. Offensively, Fitzgerald a lot smarter than I even thought he was. Threw some good passes.
This is a game that I even overlooked on my sheet here. It's one of those AFC games. I'm just kind of an NFC guy that I would just have no interest in other than watching the touchdowns on Red Zone be scored. You know what? I will take, after being hurt by them last week, I'll take the Jets to go into KC in that tough environment and win.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs at home. I think they're a strong home team. Jamal Charles might have an opportunity to play in this one. I think he's questionable. They need him bad. Spencer Ware picking up a lot of that load. Sharkandrick West, not getting as many carries as I thought he was, but look, Alex Smith is no slouch. I think they're going to win this game. It's going to be really close. Might come down to a last-second field goal, but I'm taking KC at home. Chargers at Colts. The Bolts and the Colts.
Bolts and the Colts. Bolts had an impressive win last week at home. But I think the Colts... there's a lot of talk, a lot of pressure on Andrew Luck right now. It's at home. I think they get back on track this week and take it to the Chargers.
With the news of Dante Moncrief being out for the foreseeable future, Andrew Luck having some shoulder issues, I'm not too sold on the offense. I love this Philip Dorsett kid, rookie. He's a burner. He's that third option, but now he's going to be the second option with Moncrief sitting out.
I picked him up this week.
That was a good waiver wire pickup at Radio Griff. I'm going to go still with the Chargers on the road here. I for some reason, last week.
The Chargers.
Yeah, man. Last week, Travis killed it for me. He got me like 23 points.
Was it Travis Benjamin?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bolts on the road. Bolts over Colts there. Steelers at Eagles. And before you make your prediction, I want to throw some statistical imperatives your way. The Steelers have not won in Philadelphia since 1965.
Really?
That being Franklin Field. They never won at Veterans Stadium. They haven't won at Lincoln Financial. Ever. So I want you to keep that in mind before you throw out your Steelers win here, which I knew was coming. So go ahead. Go ahead. With that being said,
what do they call this? Is it just the Battle of Pennsylvania?
Yeah, the Battle of Pennsylvania.
Something like that.
The Keystone State Battle.
Yeah, there we go. You mentioned the Steelers have never won in Philly, right?
Yep.
Well, I'm sorry to say, history is going to be made this weekend.
Oh, say it ain't so at Radio Griff.
Eagles have been impressive. I like Carson Wentz. That was a smart pick by them, man. Yeah, but the Steelers, man, Roethlisberger, he looks svelte. He's got Antonio Brown, the great running game, the solid defense. Steelers are going to beat the Eagles.
I'm going to take the Eagles in this one for two reasons.
Surprise.
One, because I'm a homer, and two, because I think nobody's giving them a shot in hell to win this game, and that's when you're at your best. is when nobody picks you to win and you have everything to prove. And I really think that Wentz is going to have a 2 or 3 touchdown game, and so will Roethlisberger, but it's going to come down to a last-second error by that Pittsburgh offense. D'Angelo Williams will cough it up late, and Philly will pick it up. Probably Jordan Hicks. I'm getting a feeling he's going to return a fumble for about 30, 35 yards, and the Birds win on some last-minute debacle. So I'm taking Philly at home here, and the streak will continue. Bears at Boys, Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, and not really, to me at least, an exciting matchup. The Bears, Jay Cutler, he got hurt last week, Monday night game. But even before he got hurt, they were showing pictures of him on ESPN video. That guy just has no fire, no passion.
Yes.
He looked kind of frumpy out there, like he wasn't even excited. It's like, dude, you're playing NFL football, Monday Night Football on ESPN. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
And you're just like, whatever. And then, of course, he goes out there and gets hurt.
Yep.
He doesn't care. This team, I feel like the Chicago Bears should be better than they are. I almost feel bad for the fans in Chicago. At least they have the Cubs this year to root for. I think the Cowboys, with old Dak Prescott, they're going to show off on Sunday night and win this game.
Yeah, I think the young gun performs big time on the big stage Sunday night. I don't see any possible way that Chicago can beat Dallas in Big D on Sunday Night Football.
Right.
They looked atrocious against that Philadelphia team last week. I mean, it was fun to watch because Cutler was getting tossed around. The first drive of the game, it started out with a sack, and then he got sacked, coughed up the ball, injured his thumb, threw that pick, and that's when it was over. I think Dallas wins also. All right, Monday Night Football to wrap it up. Battle of the South. Falcons at the Dirty Dirty.
Man, I feel bad for these teams because no one's going to be watching this game.
Yeah, it's going to be
especially
trumped.
older people. Yeah, it's going to be trumped. Big debate on the same night. But I'm a millennial, so I'll have the game on my laptop probably. Then I'll have the debate on the TV. I can do 2 things at once, and with my phone, I'll be tweeting. That's how we do it. But this is also like the 10th anniversary of Katrina, a Monday night game. I feel like the Falcons somehow always play the Saints on some type of Katrina anniversary. And on those games, these Monday night games, the Saints seem to rise up, it seems. Drew Brees, I think, is going to throw for about 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. And, impressive win by the Falcons in Oakland last week. But I don't think they can go on the road 2 weeks in a row and pull it off. I like the Saints in this game.
I'm with you, man. I don't think there's any way that the NFL lets Atlanta win this game. It's one of those, Katrina
if it's getting
memories.
Close, they'll pull the power.
Exactly. Yeah, it's happened before. Super Bowl a couple years back.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I just don't see a way that New Orleans loses at home. I don't think that Drew Brees is going to allow them to lose on the Katrina anniversary on Monday Night Football at home. And beside that, the Falcons have no defense. He's going to pick them apart, and either do the Saints, but I think in a shootout, there's no way that I'm taking Matty Ice over Drew Brees.
Even though, I feel like I have to eat some crow, Matty Ice, the #1 fantasy football player so far through 2 weeks.
I'm still waiting for that to fall off. I don't, and there again, but you're not picking any of his receivers. Right. That's the thing. It's like, on a team like Green Bay, you have Randall Cobb, you got Jordy Nelson. But with Atlanta, you're like, am I going to take Julio? He's going to get shut down. He's going to have safety cover.
So then you're looking at Sanu.
And you're looking at Sanu, and he's been up and down with injuries and inconsistencies, a couple drops. The only guy that I think is a great fantasy bet for this team is Jacob Tamme. This guy caught, I think, 5 passes last week, had 75 yards and a TD to boot. I don't see any reason why he's not on a lineup that's in desperate need of a tight end.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to take New Orleans at home there. And there you have it. At Radio Griff, 23-10 at this point with that win last night for New England. Yours truly, the wins here, 19-14. I am determined to come out on top this week. I don't care what it takes, and that is why I have stark opposition to many of at the Radio Griff's points here. Many of them valid, but I'm hoping that I can come out week 3 on top, and we're just going to have to find out. And we'll check back next week with this week's results and a look ahead to week 4. Until then, adios.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your website, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
We're all in Wen's world now.
So you're feeling pretty good about that Falcons game Sunday. Scored some points.
I had good feelings from it. For me, watching the Falcons, you need fantasy football if you're a Falcons fan. You can't be a Falcons fan without engaging in fantasy football, or else your fall is just screwed. You know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I mean, I'm buoyed by the fact that they won, mainly because I had Matt Ryan as my fantasy quarterback. Nice. Picked him off the waiver wire, and he scored 36 points. So that's the real reason, the primary reason I'm jazzed about the Falcons' victory. The fact that they won is just icing on the cake for me because I happen to be from Atlanta. But I don't think that this team is going to perform any better than last year's team. That's just my feeling. I hope I'm wrong. Pretty much the same crew running the show as 2015. And I think calling them the 2016 Falcons is a little bit fraudulent. They're the 2015 Falcons in a new package. And this is what they're going to use to convince us to buy ridiculous expensive seats in 2017 at the new Oligarchy Stadium.
Only $500. You can have a seat in the nosebleeds.
Well, $500. What is okay? So the personal seat license, that's just holding that you pay money for the privilege of paying more money. Is that right?
That's my understanding.
For the actual tickets. That's a tough sell with a team that has never won a Super Bowl. And rarely goes to the playoffs these days.
Well, they're offering a layaway program right now, $50.
So is Nordstrom, but you know, it's not going to bring except the one that's next to the MARTA line. It's not going to bring in any high dollar customers because it's on layaway. You know, it's like Neiman Marcus has layaway. I couldn't afford it over 10 Christmases, so
right.
No, I'm not doing that. And plus, with Neiman Marcus, at least you're getting something that may have some value, you know, impressed chicks or something, a hot shirt or something. Falcons tickets, what are you getting? I'd rather play Georgia Lottery.
Yeah, you're really better off dropping a receipt conveniently from Neiman Marcus. Be like, oh, I dropped something here. Yeah. That old Neiman Marcus receipt.
Or the label, the thing you're buying, you know, has some prestige, but hey, I own Falcon seats.
Yeah, it's like a Kmart receipt.
Yeah, does that make a girl's loins wet? No, it does not. I mean, it's like, hey, I'm in the Players Club at galottery.com. Oh, well, that's impressive. Desperate to get some cash. One day I'm going to win. One day. Yeah, you will. You'll win like $1,000 on a pick 5, and guess what? You'll have spent maybe $20,000 up into that point. So you're in the hole only 15.
No, Larry, because I'm going to buy 1,000 more tickets and win more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think of the Falcons. I like for them to win, but I don't mind if they lose. I expect them to. My expectations are low.
Yeah. As they should be.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable.
Same offensive coordinator, same head coach.
Same Dimitrov.
Yep.
And it's so funny to me that back in March, this Rashid Hageman, he, I don't know, beats his baby mom or whatever, and they cover it up. They cover it up. Why? Because I guess they don't want another a busted draft pick on their resume. So crazy.
I think they're in the middle of making the Lifetime movie right now.
Yeah, there is some kind of shadiness to the whole organization. It stems from its owner, Arthur Blank. I just question his motives. I don't think he is interested, first and foremost, in a Super Bowl champion. I think he's more interested in civic prestige.
So true.
He's more impressed and embedded with his legacy. Like how Arthur Blank is remembered in Atlanta when he dies in 50 years. That's the problem. They're going to have Arthur Blank as the owner for forever. I mean, I won't outlive him, I don't think. Even though I'm 25 years younger, there's no way I'm going to outlive him. You know, his mom just died, and she was like 90, in her 90s.
Jeez.
So Arthur is a young, spry 70-something. So the Atlanta fans, sorry to say.
It's like the Jews have the spring of life. It's insane.
The what?
The Jews have the spring of life. Like they outlive everybody.
They do?
Yeah. I'm telling you, Hollywood.
Where do you get this bit of
Methuselah?
Bigoted nonsense.
No, it's all in the Old
Jews,
Testament.
Are old?
They outlive everybody.
Not my grandfather. He didn't.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah. He died too young.
Well, there are always outliers.
The mean grandparents in my family. In other words, each side had one mean grandparent. On my father's side, it was my grandfather, and on my mother's side, it was my grandmother. And they outlived the bad ones. Outlived the good ones.
Ain't that some?
Yeah. So maybe you're right. Maybe the Jews do spring eternal, but boy, some of the meanest ones live forever.
You'd think bitterness would give you cancer and kill you off, but it makes you stronger. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, no, I think the bitterness, I don't know if they're bitter. They're just, they were angry. I don't know what they were angry about, but they were two angry people.
Like Emperor Palpatine, he lived to like 1,000 years old, so full of anger and rage, but it kept him going.
Yeah.
Kept him fighting
Emperor
for another
Palpatine.
day.
What is that, Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars. I've never been a Trekkie.
Yeah.
Star Wars is more realistic, too. Lightsabers and such.
I love the guy who gives me a Star Wars example. Says, at least I'm not a Trekkie. I'm sitting here like, I don't watch any of that.
Really?
But I caught Palpatine. I remember vaguely, like, my knowledge of culture.
I'm not a Dragon Con guy, but I respect those who participate. It's really a broad array of people.
It's another funny statement to me. I don't go to Dragon Con, but I respect their views.
Yeah. I don't agree.
They don't have any views. What views did the Dragon Con community, like, what's their...
I think their stance is...
stance on what?
On just everything, on the universe, is I will be whoever I want to be this weekend. I'll dress up as Mario or Lord Vader or whoever. Like, it turned from a Dungeons and Dragons clique to I'm going to dress up as a character off of, Taxi. It doesn't matter. It's so open.
To me, Dragon Con is strongly rooted in asexuality. Like, they're just anodyne beings. Yet, somehow I believe they do procreate. It's amazing to me.
A lot of them get married there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
a lot of relationships start at Dragon Con. But they just seem like the most asexual people. Or maybe it's not asexual. It's like, I would never want to have asexual encounter with any of them.
What if you found out you were conceived the night of Dragon Con? Your parents told you that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I guess at that point I would be steeped in the culture, so it would kind of be a badge of honor.
Yeah, good point. That's solid.
If my parents are Dragon Conners and I'm a Dragon Con kid, a dragon baby, then by the time I'm old enough to speak, I'll have just been immersed in Dragon Con culture by my parents. So if they sit me down and tell me this, it won't be a shock. It's like, all right, yeah. All right, that's sure. Aren't all kids born at Dragon Con? That's what I would say.
Conceived and born. Can you imagine? Well, it'd have to be a super overdue pregnancy because they're 12 months apart. But what if? It's possible. Anything's possible at Dragon Con.
They were conceived at Dragon Con or born at Dragon Con.
Conceived, like the night of.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of that.
It's at some major hotel, so I'm sure there's...
I think they take over like 2 hotels right next to each other. When I've told, they use that walkway.
Have you ever been?
No. Never.
You have a desire to go?
Nope. I'm a live and let live kind of guy, so if you want to go to that, that's fine by me. It's not my jam, as the ladies say.
Just because you don't agree doesn't mean you don't welcome.
Here's the thing. All right, Dragon Con. I'm going to kind of modify your stance. I don't really have any interest in Dragon Con, and I have no respect for their views whatsoever. To me, it's like, what is going on in Puyallup, Washington? I don't know. I don't care. I'm not there.
My friends, head to SoundCloud.com, up in the search bar, WENZ World. We are trying something new. We're going to post tracks individually, so you get to listen to whatever topic interests you the most when you want to listen to it, anytime, 24/7, 365.25. Until next week, take care, and thank you so much for listening. And one last thing. Go Philadelphia Eagles. Beat the stuffing out of the Steelers. Woo!
Break!